I am an attorney, entrepreneur, originally born and raised in St. Petersburg, Florida, but with a Caribbean background. And I first visited Ghana in 2016, and that's how I met Nee. And so, we've created Certified Africa, much from our time together in Ghana as an extension of that. And it's really just about connecting the African diaspora for business, traveling, relocating, starting a business, just everything, and making sure that we as Black people are able to get back and really understand what's happening on the continent right now.
Yeah, awesome. Well, welcome again.
Thank you.
And just everything that you do. And I know we talked before this, and just really, we've had a couple of lives with a couple of people that are originally from Africa, like Nigeria, things like that, and like the Congo. And then we've had people that, are from the US that, and I just always notice that there is kind of like this missing link. And all of us kind of talk about it, is that we all know that it's important for us to communicate with each other and for us to have business, for us to make sure that we become one people. And I think sometimes we don't really know what that looks like. I know just being born and raised here, and I've never been to any part of Africa, but I do know my roots are from Africa.
Sure.
I know where I'm from. But I think there's still some disconnect. So, what do you think that could be, as far as how can we bridge that gap, especially with organizations like Certified Africa? What do you think is that key to bridging that gap?
So I think the first thing is if you look back at history up until now for the Black man and in connection to Africa, especially for America and the Caribbean, there has been some type of, I call it misinformation, okay, where people who are here, this part of the world, have less knowledge or information. And those who even have the wrong type of information about Africa. So the first step that we have to do is to rechange that type of narrative. And I'm so happy that we're in this day and age where social media and, it's all over the place. The internet now, it's made the world more like global, or better global village in that respect, where we can send different messages to people, where people in America and the Caribbean can get to know that there are people living in Africa looking like me, looking like just you, who are not hungry, who are not maybe working in some forest somewhere. So I think the first step is reshaping or rewriting the narrative. That's the first step. So that somebody like you will have an interest, or like my wife will have an interest that, I need to visit Africa because Africa is even more fun than America. So once we move from there, then we're getting into the issue of travel. Because a lot of people are like, I don't know anybody in Africa. So how can I, make my way to Africa? You want to talk about that piece, the travel piece?
Yeah, I do think that media is key. Media for a long time has told us all of these negative things about Africa. That is a horrible place to be, that people are sick there, that, people are poor, all of these different things. And they don't get to see like the lifestyle and the amazingness of Africa. And why, why would they be putting that narrative out? It's because there's so much for us as Black people to discover there and for us to get involved with. And so, I definitely agree that it's about changing the narrative and just taking an interest in doing that first step. So we kind of try to put the two together. So when you come and travel, you can see the opportunities, and then you can also get connected to your roots and hear about a different narrative.
Then you begin to testify. So once you visit, one of the things that we do as part of still bridging the gap, because here's the thing, a lot of people travel to Africa. Of course, they have fun on one part and all of that. They come back and they don't have any reason to kind of go back again. But if we're going to keep the ties together for the next generation, we have to find things in Africa that we can get involved with that will make us always have a reason to come back. So our roots is not just we visit one time, like we visited Italy and we never go back there again. Okay. So we inculcate the aspect of business, because here's what I always tell people. Wherever you have an interest, of course, my wife now has a reason to come to Ghana. You know why? Because she has a relationship over there. So if I'm in Ghana, she may want to come there. Now, another way is business. If you have an interest in terms of business, investment, anything like in Africa, that is a way that you, and not just your generation, because trust me, My dear, when you have a mansion in Africa, you want to give that to your children. So automatically, because of that interest, you've automatically bridged a huge gap between you and your generation. So they always have a reason to come back to the continent. And that's how we keep the connection going. That's how we bridge the gap through these three means. And of course, there will be several other ways that other people can put together. But at least I believe with these three, we can be able to, begin to rebridge that gap and help,
Yeah, absolutely. I think, like you said, it's really getting your roots there. It's great to visit and all of that, and it's beautiful, and it's all of these things. But once you leave, then what? Do you just forget about it, or do you realize that no, I need to find ways to come back, or I need to find ways to put my roots here? So I think that's great. So with working with people in the diaspora, what has been something that has been eye-opening just with them learning about investing in Africa?
So I would say that most people are shocked to realize, so actually last year we did this survey where we surveyed our travelers before they went on the trip and then after, and asked them, are you interested in doing business in Ghana? And, several of them said no. Majority of them said no. They don't know, or they don't know, maybe. But after the trip, after we exposed them to all of the opportunities that were in Ghana, after they were able to see for themselves, literally almost everybody said, yes, I now have an interest in doing business in Ghana. And so it's literally, I think it's the shock value of realizing that a small amount of money in America can allow you to do a lot over.
Yeah, and here's another shocker. Here's another shocker for most people that travel to Ghana. Of course, now when you're in a place like America, of course, before I came to America, I was in a place where I was the majority. Everybody looked like me, from president to police to everything looking like me. Okay. Now, when I first came to America and I landed at the airport, when I came out, I had a very huge shock. Where the majority of the people I was seeing at the airport didn't look like me. That was my first time seeing anything like that. Now, of course, in Africa, when you also make your way to Africa, one of the first shock that you're going to have is that right from the airport, everybody else that you're seeing, from the immigration officer to whatever you can think about, looks like you. And that is a very powerful wave that you encounter. So it becomes a huge awakening, because you can think about it in your mind, but until you see it or experience it, it's very different. That's one of the huge things that the people that travel to Africa come in contact with. And you know what that does? That takes you to the next level, where you begin to enjoy some natural peace, because you're no longer afraid for what the next person could do to you. It's a mind thing. It's very powerful. So you begin to experience some extraordinary peace throughout your stay. Even if it's 1 week, you feel very different, like a heaviness has been lifted off of you. And that is very powerful, beyond business, beyond anything. As a Black person, when you make your way to Africa, you're making a difference in your mind than you can ever imagine. That's a reality. Okay, so that's what I'll say is one of the things that people, get surprised about when they come to Ghana or to Africa.
Yeah, that's really deep, actually, the difference just in traveling that you're making in your mind just to actually go. And I've had, our travelers in our community, one of the pictures are phenomenal, but you always hear this narrative about people from the U.S. going to Africa and just getting that shock value of, they never told us. They never told us that this is what it's like. All my life, I thought this, and this is what it is.
Yeah.
So with that, with COVID and everything, and just kind of that important piece of actually being on the land and just kind of that experience, how have you had to pivot what your business calls for in still getting people to invest there because of everything going on?
Yeah, I mean, I would say with COVID, of course, COVID gave us a lot of time to do a lot of talking about things, Ghana and Africa, of course, in that respect. So people who ordinarily, their 9 to 5 not give them the chance to even listen, to sit down and even be able to Google anything about Africa, to listen. Now they could afford that opportunity to sit at home because they don't have to go to work, and they can now listen to things about Africa, to get acquainted with the continent. So that period was more like an awakening for a lot of people. And if you're aware, there's a huge wave right now for people. I don't know when it started, but who have now had some serious awakening that, look, I want to make my way back to Africa. I want to reconnect. Like, I'm going to Africa. And right now, we're actually helping a lot of people. Right after your call, we're meeting 2 different couples who are relocating to Ghana in December.
Wow.
So that's how powerful that period kind of was for a lot of people, where it made them really think. And for us, I mean, it's just a matter of the borders opening, and then life goes back on. Those who have now decided to make their move, we just go back, and then we go back to Africa and have a good time. I think that's it. I mean, there's no big deal about it.
So what is with investing, and this is probably more so a question for me, but hopefully it will help the followers. But what, from the smallest to the largest, what does an investment get you in Africa, in Ghana specifically, where I know you guys operate? If I had, what's the smallest amount that I could feel like I'm actually doing something here and kind of settling in my roots, and what is kind of a large amount, larger than life, that will actually kind of get you some more assets or real estate?
I mean, it's a very tricky question in terms of how much. Okay, but I'll just give you a few, thoughts, a few things to maybe think about when it comes to investing in Africa in terms of the monetary aspect. Just give me a second. Now, there are a lot of different things that you can decide to actually make an investment in, aside registrations and all of that, which is quite cheap. I'm thinking of a process that a person has to go through to even think about investing in Africa beyond the money. But for the sake of your question, I think that when you have, just give me a second. Now, when it comes to a business like travel, like tourism, hospitality, okay, let me take that industry, because that industry has a lot of different legs under it. When you take a sector like tourism with $500 to $1,000 to $5,000, you can be able to find something to put money in. What could that be? Now, tourism has things like transportation, of course, accommodation, even Airbnb. Tourism has things like even travel itself within a country and things like that. Setting up shop, selling things that has to do with the country over there. Now, these are things that doesn't take so much money to do. You can buy a car for $4,000 and make it, or $3,000, and make it a tourist car that you're renting. Because in Africa, the number of tourists that visit Ghana alone, so many people from the diaspora visit, and these people are looking for cars to go back and forth. So when you establish a business, for instance, you have 3,000, you throw it into a business like into tourism, where you get one car. Let that car be working as a rental. You put your name on it, rental, whatever. People start renting that car, you start accumulating money. So with such little money in that field, you can get started. That's what tourism. To bigger amounts. Of course, the bigger your money, the more things you can do. You can set up shop. You can actually invest in somebody else. You don't have to do the work yourself. Find somebody who is okay setting up shop, where you're selling gifts and things that people can buy back to the US. Now, you put a person in there, you take $500. You can buy a lot of stuff in Ghana, souvenirs that people can come and buy. Find somebody in Ghana, you employ them that sits there. They're happy to do that. Okay, with $500, you set up shop and people are coming to buy things. Or someone who already have a shop, expand it. So that's with little monies, that's what it can get you. When you're looking at a place like bar, restaurant, pub, and things like that, of course, then you're moving into the high end, maybe 50,000, 40,000. You can have a nice pub, good location. People can come in, have fun, because trust me, the diaspora are coming down year after year. Mm-hmm. And that's a lot of money you could be fetching in setting up. And here's a kicker when it comes to, when you ask a question about money, how much money could you put in? It doesn't have to be just you. My wife and I can come together. If it takes 20,000 to set up anything, she brings 10,000, I bring 10,000. If we can't deal with it, we bring a third person. They bring parts, I bring parts, she brings part. Partnership. We come and build a business. And people are there to patronize the business. And with time, it expands and it grows. So as little as whatever you can get, $100, $200, if you find the right opportunity, which is all over the place, okay, you can be able to get started. You don't need 100 million. to be able to
Sure.
to do something.
Right. So, and it does sound like, and I've heard of this, just here, especially with investment, is the better or the more lucrative, just all around way to invest with that group investment. And I've seen a lot of people do that, especially with real estate.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's interesting to hear that it's similar, as far as investing there. So with that, if let's say you go there, you have your money and you're ready, or you have the idea of the business that you want to do, whether that's in tourism or anything. And my question is, living here and I invest here, I set up my shop, who actually watches your investment there? Let's say it's, if it is a restaurant or a business, what are some safeguards that you assist people with or that people can be aware of?
So, I mean, here's the thing. You don't, investing anywhere in the world, you don't just one time just automatically set up a business and you have somebody running in that respect. You have to do a lot of work has to go into it. So one of the things we do when you come through our program to move to Ghana and all of that, we believe in business. We don't believe come to Ghana and get a job. You can do that that will be your second thing. But first hand, you need to be able to do business. One of the first things you need to do is to be able to do a lot of research about what you're getting involved with. Do I really have an interest in that country that I'm about to do business in? Okay, is it a high risk, low reward place for me? Now, once you figured out all of these things, that this place is very good, I can actually make a lot of money. Now you're thinking about building relationships, finding local partners, yourself, because that's the first key to you being able to do business anywhere in the world, especially in Africa. Relationship is very key. So whilst you are there, you can't sit in America and think you can just invest in Africa unless you're investing in the financial markets, maybe stocks and things like that. But if you're actually trying to think about any other type of investment, investing in a person, investing in a business, bringing your business back to Africa, you have to be able to go there, meet people, talk to people who are doing different things. In other words, you're finding local partners that you can trust. So here's what we do. When you travel with Certified Africa on any of our experience, whether it is fun in December or it is whatever, we always have a business day in there. So on that business day, we're going to bring you in contact with other people that are doing amazing things on the continent or in the country. And you're going to interact with these people. What we're doing is we're helping you be able to find local partners. And it works because a lot of the people that travel with us are going back to do business and they're not doing it with us. They're doing it with the people that we connected them with, that they've met and now they trust them. Because the key to doing business in Africa is trust. So once you come there, you engage with people, you find the people you can trust, my dear. When you come back, it doesn't matter what business you're doing, you have who can take care of it. Let me give you an example. There's a man called Dr. Suarez, very famous African-American man who's doing a lot here and of course in Africa. Now what he did was he visited Africa one time and he met a lady who was having a little garden behind her house. He spoke to her, that, what are you doing? She said, oh, I've been to school for AYZ, but of course for now I'm doing farming. And the man built a trust relationship with this woman. And from there, when he came back to America, this has been his partner for so many years. She handles her business, not just in Ghana, but in the Caribbean and anywhere else in the world he does business in. All in meeting that one contact that you can trust. So that's what we can give you. If you want to work with us personally, in terms of maybe we invest together or we manage or something, you're coming through us to do business, yes, of course, then we are still going to connect you. But you have to go there and meet these people. That's the key. That's the key.
Right.
You know.
So it seems like just from what you're saying is that the investment extends beyond just the finances. That it's your
100%.
The culture you're investing in, the people, the relationships, whatever you have to bring here. I'm bringing some of me here, but there is a tiny bit of that financial part of it. So with that, because that definitely sounds like a conversation of what you do and what you don't do. So what would you say your do's and don'ts for investing in Africa are?
I mean, when you talk about do's and don'ts in doing business in Africa, there are a few of them that we can touch on. Okay, I'll touch on one, you touch on one.
Okay.
First of all, you need to be patient. There are too many of us who come to Africa to do business and we're less patient. We think we can throw money or seed on the ground and the next day we wake up, we check our backyard and we have a pawpaw tree or a mango tree. It doesn't work like that. You need to have a lot of patience. But at the end of the day, if you persist, you're going to get huge rewards. So that's the first thing, the do's. You have to be very patient when it comes to doing business in Africa. Give it the second thing.
Yeah, the second would be to respect the laws of Ghana and to know the laws of Ghana. So you can do, make sure you do your research, understand what you're getting into, understand, okay, so this is how things work in Ghana. These are the channels that I'm going to have to go through, and keep those things in mind when you're doing business.
Because you want to make sure that the place you're investing in, you can actually take your money out of the country. And it's not a country, it's not a place where you after you've invested your money, you can take your money back anywhere, to Dubai, or wherever you decide to do. So you want to make sure you get acquainted with the law. The next thing you want to be aware of is fraud, which is the trust issue that I'm talking about. Because I often hear a lot of people talking about somebody disappointed me, and they now say a whole bunch of things about Africa, that, you can be fraud and all of that. But because you didn't do due diligence, you have to be very sure who you're dealing with, whether you can trust them. Can you trust Certified Africa to lead you to do business in Africa? If you can, then of course you go ahead and do business, because you can't get defrauded. There are bad people everywhere on the planet. Trust me, there's some also in Africa and in Ghana specifically. So you want to make sure that you check the fraud element, that do I trust this person? That's why you have to be there, and not he said, she said. And then based on that, you decide to do business, throw your money into something. No way. Okay. So that's the next thing.
Definitely. And then I would say that the next thing is to make sure that you know what you value, and that you know why you're going there, and to make sure that you define, okay, so this is why I'm interested in going to Ghana. This is why I'm interested in doing this type of business, because it can't just be all about the money. It can't just be that, I just want to make, all of this money. You have to be connected to what you're doing. You have to believe in what you're doing. So that value piece is very important.
Now, another thing that I'll talk about as a do is people just take things lightly sometimes when they come to Africa, because we feel like, of course, in Africa, the systems are picking up. The systems are not all fixed and all of that. So it's a work in progress. So a lot of people come and they take things for granted. They don't like to put things on paper. So once you engage somebody, say, I trust Kristen. So that's it. Handshake and we're in business. No, make sure everything is, no way. Make sure everything is documented. You have things documented that you can say, hey, we agreed on this, although I trust you, but we have things on paper. So you make sure you're legally documenting, and making sure you put the necessary safeguards in place. So if anything should happen tomorrow, you have things down that other people can even see and say, she really said AYZ, and this is what they agreed on in that respect. Okay.
So the next one I would say is, I don't think we can stress this enough, is that it's all about who you know and relationships in Ghana. People have to understand that things don't work how they work in the US. It's about, or wherever they may be coming from. It's a different culture. Things work differently. And the way that you get things done in Ghana and other places in Africa is by your relationships. Oftentimes we think, okay, this person that we see at the counter or the desk to the top person in whatever corporation, they don't matter. So we just walk past them and we don't give them any attention. That could be a crucial mistake. Everybody is important. Don't ever discount anyone, because those relationships are key. That person could know the next person that can help you get through. And so often, because of, some of the structural ways that things work in Ghana, it may be that you may not be able to get something done unless you know a certain person in a certain office. And so that's why we say building relationships is key to getting things
And here's
done.
a final one. First, it should be the first and it should be the last of everything that we've talked about in terms of do's. And even if you add don'ts to it, make sure that before you do business in Africa, make sure that you get help. Trust me. If you think you can walk to Africa and then just want to personally engage in business and do everything by yourself, you're going to hit a very huge wall. And people have hit those walls. You can succeed, but I wouldn't take those type of chances. I will tell you, get help. Because when you get help, what is going to happen is that you're going to be able to have, like, anybody who watches this live video in the next 5 years or 2 years, the next day, and they want to do business and they listen to all I've said and the things I've talked about, they will think that they can take those things and maybe do business in Africa. But that'll be an error, because maybe based on a conversation we had, I couldn't have told you everything that you need to validate your idea. You need to be able to do this. You need to be able to, you get my point. But when you get help, you're going to be able to now have a structure that Googling stuff will not be able to give you that structure. You have somebody that you can now have a structure that this is the first step, this is a second step, this is a third step, this is a fourth step before we think of registering our business or doing anything or scaling. The person will tell you that, hey, you need to start from somewhere. Don't push all your money in the start. Let's test the market. So all of these things, when you get help, you can get it. And that's the biggest do you can find. Getting help.
Yeah.
That's the key.
Right. Which is, I think that goes, I mean, just has so many layers and it extends across different industries. Even just with our platform here is getting started as we rely on so many other people and, so much on our community that we all kind of are helping in our own way. We're helping, whether it's exposing different places that we've never seen or giving information that we didn't know when we travel somewhere. So I think it's extremely important. And with that, so getting the help, what are some tools that you offer at Certified Africa that, let's say people just go to your website and they just kind of want to try, let's say they want to try to do it on their own. As hard as that can be and as, ill-advised as that is, are there any tools that people can at least use to get started, whether it's research tools or, whether it's just kind of any information or websites that they can go to kind of just get started?
Well, actually, we're in the midst of developing some resources for people who, want to kind of do it on their own. They kind of want a DIY. We're looking to do an ebook and some other things, so they can definitely watch out for that. But I would say, there are some other resources.
So here's what I'll say. I mean, there's so many countries you can decide to invest in. Let me take Ghana as an example. If you want to do business, you want to do anything, you don't want the help of Certified Africa as a contact person to cross the T's and dots the I's in doing business in a country. You want to go solo. Of course, you have to always look out for the Chamber of Commerces that are in the country. So for Ghana, for instance, you may find US Ghana Chamber of Commerce. You may find the Ghana Canadian Chamber of Commerce. You may find Ghana UK Chamber of Commerce. All these Chamber of Commerces has a lot of information or resources that can help anybody who wants to do business in that country. So it tells you some of the do's, some of the don'ts, and all of that. So that's one way you can get good resources. Now, every country as well also have a